Welcome to yet another video of SmarttechPIN. Hope you enjoyed the earlier video. Before we start, let me give you maybe an overview of this episode. So we'll be basically talking about one of the IoT verticals, and I have chosen agriculture as one of the segment. And definitely we'll be covering more of IoT verticals in the next few days. So we can cover the industrial manufacturing sectors. We can cover asset tracking. We can cover the telematics and logistics and telematics, and we can also cover the healthcare. So I'll take you through some of the very interesting applications so that this session becomes more interesting. And for if you have any queries, please comment on the video. I can answer to all your queries. And before we begin, just a recap of those people who have not seen the first video. So just an introduction about IoT. So you hear about IoT these days. Everywhere you see IoT. IoT stands for Internet of Things. Typically, this is used for automation of various industry verticals. When I say automations, picking up some data from critical data points from your industry or any segments, and carrying that data and passing on to a destination, and where you do a lot of analysis, and based on that analysis you can do you can take a lot of business decisions. So this is the broad concept of IoT. You're bringing some intelligence. Before, it used to be called as M2M, machine to machine. Now it is coming out with a much more refined models. See, it has gone for a lot of innovations and a lot of enhancements. The main reason is thanks to the technology, especially the communication channels, how the device can communicate to the outside world. That has really, grown tremendously, and that resulted in coming out with a lot of innovations, a lot of enterprises, a lot of industries. They all want to do IoT. So there are many business objectives for getting into an IoT, basically to improve their operational efficiency, cost savings. A lot of factors are there. So, so let us start this session with a very high level overview of the ecosystem. I know there are a lot of technical jargons. I don't want to touch any of these technical jargons as of now. We will be going in detail about each and every components in the next few videos. So this session is predominantly helping people who are trying to understand more about IoT. So you hear a lot of things about smartness in agriculture, smartness in healthcare. So I'm just trying to make it more simpler for you to understand, and I'm going a little bit slow. People complain that I speak fast, so I'm just trying to reduce my speed and then try to be more clear in what I'm trying to communicate to you. So in an IoT ecosystem, you find a smart tag. You hear all these terms: smart tags, smart devices, smart sensors. So these are sensors and tags and devices which will be implemented in various IoT verticals, like whether it's agriculture or healthcare or industrial manufacturing. These kind of devices will be implemented in vital data points. When I say vital data points, in places where you feel that okay, you want to capture some data, and if you capture that data, I can do something else. So that's a kind of it is acting as a bridge for your automations. So those are the tags, devices, and sensors. You call it by different names. Tags are typically like when your module is small, we call it as smart tags. Okay. When you say smart devices, it could be a little bit bigger device. Then we call it a smart device. Sensors are typically like again, it could be a tag. Okay, it could be a tag, or we call it as a sensor. So these kind of sensors, they need some kind of communication path. They have inbuilt communication module within the device. Say they need some kind of communication modules to talk to the outside world. Okay, this say for example, the smart device is capturing a data from a data point. How does it pass that data to the outside world? It needs some connectivity. So connectivity can be over Wi-Fi. If there's a local Wi-Fi, it can connect to a local Wi-Fi. Or LoRa. LoRa is another form of communication path. I'll be explaining more about LoRa in the coming sessions. Then BLE, you all know about Bluetooth. So if there's a Bluetooth module within the sensor or device, it can connect and pass the data. Then comes the radio module. Radio module. It could be a 3G module, a 4G module, or a 5G module. I'm talking about the telecom networks. So if any one of this network is available, then these kind of devices can talk to the outside world. And okay, now the communication is set. Where do you send the data? So the data has to go to some destination. So it can go to an IoT middleware. These are the terms that we use. It can go to an IoT middleware, and through the IoT middleware, it can go to your backend applications. And once it reaches the backend applications, probably you can use some analytical tool, and you can visualize, and you can basically work on that data, whatever is captured from the various data points. So that is analytics. So this is the overall IoT ecosystem. You name any vertical, any segment, any wherever you see automations, these are the functional blocks on a higher level. So we'll go more detail into this ecosystem. So this is useful for people who want a career in IoT, who wants to know what is this automation. We hear about automations, who wants to know more about IoT. So these kind of technical terms will really help you to shape up your knowledge. Now, coming on, let us, as I said earlier, let us talk about one of the verticals. Okay. So today I have chosen agriculture as one of the segment we can talk. So this will be this slide, and next couple of slides will be very useful for the farmers or people who are doing agriculture. It will be very useful for them because this is going to open up a lot of ideas for them. And in a very layman's language, I'll try to explain how the IoT or how the technology flavor is going to be applied into their segment. So I'll try to make it as simpler as possible. So typically when you talk about automations in agriculture, what are the typical needs? One need, as you all know, an agricultural landowner who is doing massive agriculture, whether in a small land or a bigger land. Okay. The first and primary thing is the water conservation. So he wants to preserve water, and as you know, water is one of the scarce commodity. It's becoming. Okay. So they want to save water. So water conservation is one of their need. Okay. Can the technology solve it? We'll discuss that in the coming slides. So that will be one of the need. Next is crop yield management. So can technology help me to increase my yield? Wonderful. If technology can improve, amazing. So that is something like, they will definitely look into that. The other one is the crop planting. See, planting goes through a planting process, and there is something called planting cycle. I plant one plant, it goes through a cycle, it grows, it gives you fruit, or it gives you other edible products, and it starts with the planting and it ends with the harvesting. So this is called a cycle. Okay. Can the technology help the farmers to monitor the planting cycle from the planting to the harvest? Of course, that will be of interest to the farmers. Then comes the weather conditions. during the plant harvest cycle, it goes through different weather conditions. It could be raining a lot during a particular day, and the next day it might be hot. It goes through a lot of severe weather conditions. Can the technology help provide some kind of help there? Definitely, that will be definitely a point of interest for the farmers. The next is to have sensors to monitor the pest. You know, pest. You find pests everywhere in the, it is a nightmare for the farmers in the agricultural domain. So can some sensors monitor the pest so that the pest can be controlled and only the required amount of pesticides be applied on the crop? So these are the things you find. These are some of the pain points, you can say, of the farmers, how to control the pest. See, they cannot basically afford to apply more pesticides. They cannot. The problem is, if you apply more pesticides, your product will be disqualified, and you cannot basically sell the products. Nowadays, the health missionaries are basically keeping a scanner on the products that are being produced by the farmers. So when you find pest, the farmers, what they do is typically like spray the pesticides all over the land, just to control it. What if there is a sensor which is monitoring the pest right from its, you know, uh, right from the start, so if the sensor finds some pest in some corner of the land where the crops are infected, can it basically give an alert to the farmer saying that these many square pieces of land, piece of land, please apply pesticide, instead of spraying all over the land as a part of preventive mechanism? Can the sensor guide him through so that the yield, whatever he's harvesting, will be a quality product? Definitely, that is something like you have to think loud in terms of technology. Reduce agricultural machinery maintenance. As you know, a lot of machineries are used. Some of them will be mechanized tools like tractors and few other. There are a lot of machineries, as you know, used by the farmers. Can we preventive maintenance? These machineries are very expensive. Can we apply some technology there to prevent the machineries from, let me put it this way. So can we put some technologies to as a preventive maintenance tool? That means maybe the tractor or the other devices, they might be running and it needs some maintenance which the farmer forgot to do or whatever it is. So can we put some sensors, to make to alert the farmer about the machinery and its maintenance needs? Wonderful. That will really help farmers a lot. Especially these machineries are going to be idle for a few months, so that they will be used initially, and then it goes into in a hibernation mode, so it will be idle, and then again they will use it. So these are the things, these are some of the listed things, which can, where the technology can really play a major role and help the farmers. Okay, if there are sensors available for all this, wonderful. That will be a amazing valued for uh, the farming community. How to implement these solutions? As I said, for the above all needs, we have sensors. We have sensors and devices available currently in the market. Identifying the right sensor is going to be very, very, very critical. So when you look at a land, okay, what kind of sensor can go there? It all depends on the type of land, type of terrain. There are a lot of factors. So identifying the right sensor is one of the critical thing. This is basically to make sure that we are applying the right technology for that particular land and based on its terrain. So typical sensors are like the moisture sensors for water conservation. So we'll touch a little bit on that. So let me explain to you. So typically in a land where there is no, there might be a sprinkler system. And as you know, the sprinkler systems these days are smart. It is smart. You can program it saying that, okay, morning 8 to 10, water the plants, and evening 5 to 6, water the plants. There is a control panel for the most of the sprinkler systems where you can program it. It's based on a timer, and it basically waters the plant automatically. That is fine. It is really good. What if on a rainy day it rain heavily and the water is rich in water content? Sorry, the land is rich in water content. The sprinkler still works. It still works because it's been programmed to water the plants, irrespective of whether it rains or not. Now there are rain-sensitive sprinklers available, but a good planning with proper moisture sensors, you can really create a completely efficient ecosystem where you can plan for some sensors. Say, for example, you have a land, and based on the size and the shape of your land, plan the sensors accordingly. Put the sensors in the soil, and which basically can detect the moisture content in the soil. So if it rains, it sends the data. It sends the data continuously to the backend system. And what we can do is, this data can be received by some kind of control gateway, and we can pass this on to the control panel, the sprinkler control panel. And typically we can say that, okay, shut the sprinkler off when the water content or the moisture content in the soil is more than a set threshold. So this way you can save a lot of water consumption. So in short, the sprinklers will water the land only if there is a need. So this saves a lot of water for the farming community. Not only that, it saves a lot of cost for you. Similarly, I talked about the pest monitoring sensors. Definitely, that's a great value add. Then plant growth sensors. So sometimes there might be a concern for the farmer that the plant height is short, it's not growing. That could be due to various other reasons. Maybe the soil nutrients are poor, or maybe you have to apply some kind of organic manures. So these kind of sensors can really do that. Then equipment maintenance sensors, we talked about it. Then there are sensors for checking the soil nutrients. Okay, that will it can give you the different nutrients composition levels, and the data can be used by the farmer, and he can apply the manures whatever he wants to apply on the field based on those data. So end result is you get quality products at reduced cost, high crop yields, preventive maintenance for operational efficiency or for your machineries. Overall, it helps you to optimize the utilization of all your resources. From a farming point of view, if you have all these sensors in your land, definitely this is going to really, really help you out in coming out with an excellent crop. As a social responsibility, you can bring some excellent crop to the community. At the same time, at a very less and reduced cost. Amazing. This is typically what is the future for the agriculture community. And believe me, these things are not expensive. There are a lot of sensors available, and the success of any implementation is dependent on how well you are planning it. First, you have to identify your pain points, what you need, what your needs are. Based on that, you should implement this solution and create an excellent ecosystem. See, again, from an implementation point of view, as I said, I'm just summarizing whatever we discussed. So first approach is basically capturing the main points of the agricultural farmer we want to understand your main pain points. Based on that, we'll create a framework. Framework will basically consolidate all the informations, and it will give you a high level overview of how your ecosystem will look like. Once that is discussed, and once we all agree on the framework, then comes the architecture finalization. This is the time where we'll plan for all the gateways, how your data should be captured, and how who should collect it, where it should go. All those things will be covered in the architecture finalization. Then comes the identifying the right sensors or devices. So based on your land size, shape, so we should identify the right sensors, and of course, the price of the sensors. A lot of factors are there, so we have to identify the right sensors or devices. Then comes the implementation and the soft launch. There's a spelling mistake there. Okay, it's a soft launch. Implementation and soft launch. So this is a time where you basically implement a probably if you have a large piece of land, probably in a small square yard, whatever you decide, you can keep the sensors and you can basically do a proof of concept. That's called soft launch. You can do a soft launch and collect the data, and then once you are satisfied, then go for the major implementation. That means you can expand the same POC applied to all your other pieces of land, and then do the data analysis and do all the validations. And once you are convinced and satisfied, then make it completely production. So once you implement the sensors and the devices and core tags, they don't need any maintenance. It is maintenance free, you can say, to an extent. Maybe a little bit if it gets damaged through our manually, if you accidentally damage the sensor, probably it has to be replaced. Otherwise, it doesn't give much complaint these days, because it's all IP67 certified. So this is how you can basically think of introducing some kind of automations into the agricultural segment. So I think I went in a very simpler manner. I was just talking in a language that will be easily understandable especially for the farming community. And in the next video, we'll discuss a reference architecture and the technical aspects of implementation. So I'll come out with some diagrams. This will be very much useful for the farming community, as well as for the technical people who wants to understand more of automations in agriculture segment. So we'll cover that diagrammatically. I will try to draw some diagrams and show you how this can all exist in a square piece of land. Okay. So I hope this video was useful for you and informative also. So I have tried to make it as simple as possible, So I didn't want to use any jargons. I was not going in a faster pace, slowing down. I was just trying to hold myself on, come on, slow down. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching this. If you like the video, please subscribe to the SmarttechPIN, and please put all your comments in the comment section. So I'll try to answer to whatever, however I will definitely be happy to answer to your questions. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.